just answered right now that I do not remember so much of what happened in 1999, except what I read in, read in the papers or read in research, which is quite different from, sometimes the stories are twisted. So the question is, do you think this has to do, like, the poor changes or the slow changes we're noticing, how do I put it? Like, we're expecting changes, but it's not happening at the rate that we wanted. Would you blame it on our lack of knowledge of our real history?
Okay, great question. Where I was going, which your question now pushes me to faster, is that a great man once said that be not conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. What I'm trying to get to is that to solve the Nigerian problem in any age class, whether you're speaking to the youth or to anybody, we need to have a radical change of our minds. The way we think about power, about government, about our rights in Nigeria there's something wrong with it. That's where I'm going. That's what I'm saying that. So the vote of the youth, if you give it to any number of people, you're invariably going to have the same exact result that we have today. So I'm saying that it doesn't even matter what we do by the votes. Okay, I could give you several examples and I won't mention names. Have you ever felt in Nigeria have you ever been in those positions or you've seen those circumstances where somebody, a person whom you knew to be an honest person, or who you knew to be a decent person got into government and you were very happy. He's now governor, he's now minister, and you were very happy. He's going to do something and then nothing changed. Have you ever felt that way?
Of
Have you
course.
ever seen that happen?
Every day.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
So
what we need to change is the mindset.
Teju, so now I think, because why we chose this voice conversation is that I believe the youth have been talking. Maybe this mindset that you're talking about, it's possible that with what we are talking about and with all the things that goes on Twitter, whenever it comes to governance and all of that, we are beginning to realize some of these challenges that you have drawn, right? But my question is, how do we channel it? Because a lot of us actually have very powerful voices that can influence some of these things that you're talking about, changing the mindset and turning things around for Nigeria. I believe so. We might not be there yet. We're not perfect, but I believe that there are still a lot of people, that can influence such things. How should we even go about it? Because some people do not even believe that they even matter in the scheme of things. Then I'll come to Maury when you answer that.
Okay, that's a good question. Now, I won't even pretend like I have all the answers, talk much less of a lot of the answers or most of the answers, but I have an answer. Okay, we must always learn as much as we can from people who have stuff to teach us. Okay, so I remember a Lagbaja song that I like. It says that Nigerian youth, you must take power, but not by force. You must take power by sense. That's what the Lagbaja song says. You must take the power by sense. Thus, it means that the Bible says that can a king who has 10,000 men go against a king who has 20,000? If he cannot, then he must sit down and think of his battle strategy and how it is that he's able to conquer the one who has more. And if he cannot, then he sues for terms of peace. What all that means is that if you're a Nigerian youth who's trying and agitating, to get better governance in Nigeria, you cannot do it the way we seem to want to do it. And I go back to Lagbaja's, position. You cannot take it by force. Okay, you simply cannot. Now, NSAS came about, and we were quite, what I got from NSAS of everything was not that anything changed. It was to prove to us that we had this generation. And when I say generation, I don't mean age. People use generation to mean age. That's not what it always means. Leke Alder says that a generation is a mindset. So if you're 70 and I am 40 and there's somebody who is 21, but we think the same way, then we're a generation in thought. So what NSAS and the Lekki Tollgate served to inform some of us of was that there was a generation of Nigerians, mostly young people, who could actually stand up and speak. You know, that was what was exciting about it, a generation that wanted change. Now, having established that, what that proved to us is that we're not going to take it by force. We have to take it by sense. Now, what does that sense mean, and how do we get there by taking it by sense? I'm glad to see that you will find young Nigerians who are beginning to do that already. Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook came all the way to Nigeria, not on the invitation of the government. He didn't come all the way to Nigeria to come and see a big man. He came to see a startup, a technological startup in Nigeria, in Lagos. Somebody who, even despite or in spite of all the things that we lack, had been able to get to the attention of Mark Zuckerberg. There are these two young men who are younger than I am. The proof of the fact that they're younger than I am is that they attended a university that wasn't even existing by the time I was in the university. They're called Paystack. I mean, they've gotten investment from up. Now, these are the guys who are coming. Let's come into my industry. I've seen Burna Boy on Trevor Noah. I was watching Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show just last week, and there's this guy. So I didn't even know it was Nigerian. It took me a few minutes because I'm a bit removed from hip hop these days. I forget his name. You guys have to remind me. He's something. Come on, Teju. Please, can you guys remind me of Nigerian artists who are making international? This guy's young, had a bit of dreads. It's not Naira Marley.
Omale?
Omale?
No, not Omale.
Not Naira Marley. Something. I think there was Fire.
Fireboy.
I remember.
Fireboy.
I think that's the guy. And I'm watching Fallon. I'm like, what? So you have these young Nigerians who are already coming to international prominence. That is what we need to keep growing. We need to keep growing that. We need to keep growing that. And once we keep growing that, we will start to influence those decisions. Now, meanwhile, what I'd like to speak to is the Nigerian youth sense. Okay, there are a lot of us who are still caught up in this whole, psychophancy, this whole godfatherism, this whole getting into politics and steal money. There are still many of those people. We need to speak to those people because you know what will happen invariably? All these old people, whether by force
or by nature, they will
leave now. Abi?
Right.
The Obasanjo you spoke about. I don't know how old Baba is right now. But I can only imagine that Baba will not be around again for another 30 years. If Baba is around again in the next 30 years, then he has to tell us what he has been drinking. I'm not good.
Okay, we're going to hold that thought, Teju. Let's take a break.
So that's it. So that's my thought.
Yeah, so let's take a break. I think Maury is back now. So when we come back, we'll hear Maury's thoughts and we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us and we'll take some comments. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you're just tuning in, as we move towards 2023, how can our voice translate to our votes? That's our question. So please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Tweet at us at WadeShow Africa1 with the hashtag WadeShow, or you send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. And we still have our guest, Teju Babyface, with us. Santi, do you want to take a comment first? Then we now...
Well, yes, I do have... Okay, you know what? I'll take the comment first.
Then you have your own comment, right?
Yes,
question,
I do.
rather.
So this is from Benson. He asks, what can we build from the possibilities of what we saw from the organized NSAS?
Again, what we need to take
okay,
away
so
from that
the
is that
quest-
there's a
okay.
generation of mostly young people who are Nigerians who are given to change. So at the very least, if you're one who's called into leadership and into politics you feel that's what you're called, you know that there's this whole generation of people who will support you. So at the very least, you're hurting by the fact that not every Nigerian is a certain way. That's what I would take from there, is that there's a whole generation of thinkers in Nigeria who want things done a different way. We can begin to build on that energy. I expect a certain number of superstars or stars to arise, or future leaders to arise from that movement, not particularly or not only exclusively those whom we saw come out in the forefront, but those who were touched by that. And you will see somebody will show up years later, and you'll be speaking to this governor and to this president who will tell you that the fire for leadership was born in his heart or in her heart, starting from that NSAS movement, that was what kindled the fire in their heart. So I think it's already done what it is supposed to do, more or less. But I think I'm fairly convinced that what it is not supposed to do is to continue along those same lines. It cannot work. Okay, I sympathize with those who think that we can take it by force, but there's something that people who want to take things by force also always forget. You cannot control a fire, a raging fire, once you light it. So if we're going to take it by force, it's like when we used to go to the village, and they wanted to clear the forests during the Harmattan season. They would always make sure that they marked out the borders of the forest, and they had fire beaters, people who will beat the fire to make sure that when you lit that fire, it did not consume more than you wanted it to consume. And once you begin to agitate violence, we will take it by force for taking over power. Oftentimes, it consumes more than you think. Now, in the end, the irony is that in the end, it may achieve what you thought you wanted to achieve. It may give you the change, but do you want to pay the price for that change? So the biggest takeaway from Lekki was that, trust me, there's a fire that has been birthed in so many hearts. The seeds have been sown. And like everything that is sown, the harvest is coming. You will see the harvest.
Okay.
Can I go forward? Right. Okay. So now, Teju, you also have, you built a career as well as a comedian. Obviously, we saw a bit of that when you were cracking us up during your first speech band. I have this question for you. Does comedy skits, we see a lot of people making comedy skits and, comedians, comedy shows, making fun of these people in government. Would you say that is an effective way to, pass across information, or does it just make it look like a joke and people don't take it seriously? The state of the nation.
Okay, so first of all, you guys have great questions. Whoever coaches you guys to ask these questions, kudos to them. And if nobody coaches you and you're coming with these questions extemporaneously, again, congratulations. Beauty and brains. Who said it doesn't exist?
Thank you.
Right here.
We try to
Thank
exist.
you. So, great question again. You're talking of satire now. Usually we'll go satire like this. This is what we do. This is what Trevor Noah is doing with The Daily Show.
Yeah.
This is what Stephen Colbert is doing mostly with the Late Show. And you have it all over the place. There are these satirical shows all over the world. Does it work in Nigeria? The first person who will call you once you start to do satire in Nigeria, right now, the first person who will call you is your mother. Ọmọ mi jọ torí Ọlọ́run. Wọ́n nífẹ̀ẹ́ jẹ́ tún Nàìjíríà ṣe. Translation, my child, it is not your own blood that it will use as the sacrifice to make Nigeria a better place. I have actually heard it being said.
My mother
It's your
says
family
that all the
members that
time.
will call you. And if you are out of Nigeria, such as I am, you can leave Nigeria, but will you take everybody out of Nigeria? If you take your father and your mother, will you take all your siblings? If you take your siblings, will you take their wives? Of course, you will take their wives and their spouses. If you take your sibling and his wife, will you take your sibling's wife's brother? If you take your sibling's wife's brother and his wife, what about their own parents? So That's what I'm telling you, that our problems, we usually talk about our problems on the surface. I see the way we go about Nigeria's problems, and I shake my head that we're not getting it. We are not understanding what is happening. Our problems are not just going to go away. It is deeply rooted. Okay, so satire, for example, you're going to be shut down. The very same people, some of them whom you claim you're fighting for, are going to come after you. Just for being brave enough to do that. So does that mean you shouldn't do satire? Perhaps that's not what it means. It just means, again, that you must always put common sense. So let me give you an example. For example, do you know that Trevor Noah can stand where he is right now? Trevor Noah can sit where he is and castigate the South African government, which he does regularly.
Yes.
Who's going to catch him? Nobody. You know why nobody's going to catch him? He has backing. You know what kind of backing he has? He has financial backing. He has power. That's where I was going with the Nigerian youth. You are already on that path. Some of you guys are beginning to make money. Money speaks. The Bible says that a feast is prepared for laughter and wine makes merry. But money answers everything. You guys just keep building up that financial power. Just keep building it. Just keep building it. After a while, you're going to come together and you're going to make something happen. And then you're going to make it happen on the cusp of historic change. Again, as I said, the old guard is going to go. My own greatest fear is that the old guard is already poisoning the young guard. I know young men who are my age mates right now, who are in politics, who are thieves. They've drunk of that water already. They've drunk of that water. It has taken over them. They like the trappings of power that they see. They want to walk in those same steps that those old men walked. That's my greatest fear. So when we talk about these old men, they're going to go. Do you not know they're going to go?
But they're already grooming. They're already grooming an army. Okay, so it's interesting you mentioned power, because I was going to come to that. I was just telling Sanzi before the show that I watched a video of our former colleague Akan that did a video on cryptocurrency. Right? You see, when the NSARS thingy happened, of course, I mean, we hear that a lot of them, a lot of the young people, when some of their accounts were blocked, how they were able to fund and, you know, get funds across to the people was through cryptocurrency. Now you're talking about financial power. So we know now that, yes, our voice is powerful. But you see, that backing you're talking about, Trevor Noah, is the financial backing that backs that voice, which is, you know, this new generation of young people making so much money online. But right now, they are being stifled, they are being crippled in Nigeria, right? So so those are the things that is giving me a bit of concern, right? Even when we decided, you know what, we have had it, we want to stand up against bad governance and all of that, we're seeing that this strategy is not working. And maybe you take Ade's comment, because somebody's suggesting that we take on the style of J.K. Rowling's. You know, maybe you should take Ade's comments.
All right,
you know,
so
Ade is from the UK.
This is what Ade says. Good evening, ladies. Welcome back, Owa. Nigeria needs to apply J.J. Rowling's method when he was in power. Until this happens, we will not exit from this roundabout. Nigeria is a great nation with good people, both home and abroad.
So what do you think?
You know the J.J. Rowling's method that he's referring to, right?
Yes, we know it.
Should we be saying that on live TV?
Everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it.
It's his opinion. I mean, nobody has said anything. He just referred to a method, and we all know what that method is, right?
We read about it.
It can work. Yeah, it can work, but it hardly ever takes you all the way. With all due respect to Ghana, Ghana is in many ways better than Nigeria in some ways. But what's the population of Ghana?
Compared to Nigeria.
I mean, not to take anything away from Ghanaians. I mean, I've been to Ghana. I love Ghana. I always feel at ease in Ghana. Great people, you know. But I mean, we're not that different from one another. And don't also forget there are many Ghanaians in Nigeria as well. In fact, even when Nigeria had it rough back in the day, there were so many Nigerians in Ghana that we shamefully then implemented what we called Ghana must go, something that should never have happened, you know. But the point is that even the Ghana that went the way of Rawlings, I mean, I asked you to name a country, a first world country of black people, and you didn't name Ghana. Okay? So there's a limit to how effective that is over time. Okay? Ghana is better than Nigeria, but not all the way better like that. Okay?
Okay.
So there is that way, but it doesn't solve the problem. That is like going to a tree and cutting off all the fruits of the tree, but leaving the tree standing. The tree is going to eventually have fruits,
Again.
you know.
And replicate the same fruits. Okay, so let me take
Yeah,
more
replicate
comments.
the same thing.
Yeah. This is from, I think is Raphael
You didn't ask me
Akori.
a question about cryptocurrency. Did
Yes,
you
I'm
want
going
me
to come to that, but I just wanted to quickly take in more comments. The youth are vocal without substance, because this is also linked to financial backing. The youth are vocal without substance, and we need serious mentorship, but our leaders are overstaying their welcome. That's from Raphael Akori. He's from Zaria. Then Kunle, I think, Leila says, NSAS, yes, a good movement, but we did not see a switch or a direction that can impact, or a direction steer rather, that can impact 2023 from the movement. Then Indubisi says, towards the next election, for me, it's continuous community education and engagement. So back to the financial backing on cryptocurrency.
Okay. Okay. So let me take that last. First of all, let me say that even though I said that the problems that we have as a race and a nation, in this case Nigeria, are deeply rooted, you should know that you don't need many keys to open a door. It's something that a friend of mine says a lot, Kole Shorenyo.